Namaste, my dear friends. My name is Aditya Dutta. I am an identity coach. This video, which I am doing, is about Kailash Manasarovar route and cost comparison. Now, I am a coach. I am not any travel agent. I have been to Kailash in 2018 with after doing a lot of research. I have done some mistakes in that tour. And I was researching because this year also we are making a tour to Kailash Mansarovar, and the routes are actually opened. The China route is open. Tibet would be open in few weeks. That's what I'm assuming. And I was doing my research on what exactly to do. So I thought, I can share my understanding about the Kailash Yatra through some comparison. So here it is. I have created a small comparison presentation for this. I will just share it quickly here. Yes, that's the video, the PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the picture. So to get to it, there are two ways to do the Kailash trip. One is the India and Kailash Yatra route map. So it is done by the Indian government. We can apply to the Indian government through agency. I think there's no agency. There is the India. I'll tell you the name of the organization. And the second is Nepal, through Nepal and Kailash Yatra. There are like two ways to go for Kailash Yatra. These are the only two ways, right? And I was doing the comparison, to understand the routes, the difficulties, the cost, and that's where I think this video is going to help. So if we are going through the Indian government, there are actually two routes. I think one is through the Lipu Lake, and the other, I'll go to the comparison. Yeah, Lipu Lake Pass or Nathula Pass, right? But through Nepal, there are there are three ways: via Kairung, via Lhasa, and via helicopter. So we are going to discuss on that. But just let's get back to the map, right? So now this, when we are doing through the Indian government, first we need to understand that the medical tests are very important. You have to pass the medical test. You have to go to Delhi. You have to spend 3 days there. You have to deposit 5,000 rupees for that. Right, and I'm going to put the link of the the Indian like government link. It's called. I think they arrange it to KMVN. I'll put the link below. You can go and look at that. Right. So there are certain criteria you have to match, and the fitness level has to be like really good. So if you are not in a good fitness level, it is good to do your checks first wherever you are. Right, and then apply for this so that you don't get a failure when you are doing the medical test. So that's the one stage. And the second stage is through lucky draw, right? So they give preference to some people. They may not give preference to all the people. So it's the government decides it. According to 2017, they used to only take 360 people, but probably in 2023, the volume might increase. That's one thing about it. Now, through this route, you have like a very basic arrangement, which I have seen the videos, and I've even spoken to many people who have done this yatra, through the government agency. I've spoken to also people who have gone through Nepal, and I myself, I have taken a tour through Nepal because I thought this was I applied for it, and going to Delhi 3 days, and then a lucky draw, then getting into fitness fully, because even your BMI has to be less than 25, you understand, to qualify. So all these things, I was not very prepared, and time consuming, right? At least average 25 days was there. So all these things, but of course, if you get the lucky draw, and if you are ready to, the good thing about this trek It's organized by the Indian government. That's one great thing. And you get, if you are a trekking lover, and you get a lot of time to trek, and your acclimatization, sorry, acclimatization is very good, because you get a lot of time. So that's the very good part about this. And you get to pass through Om Parvat, so the itinerary is very different, but it requires, we have to be ready in our mind to spend at least 1 month, because uh, itinerary can change because of a lot of things. Once you are in the China border, the things are very different, because it depends on the ministry level connection, India and China relation. So it depends a lot on that once you cross the border, right? So that is one thing I was also concerned, because when we are choosing like to go there, and we spend, and I'll tell you the cost comparison. It's almost the same cost what you would be paying if you are going through Nepal or through India. I mean, it's the same. And through Nepal, the days are less. So that's where my comparison were, right? So now this map that you are seeing is the Nepal. Nepal has like 3 ways. You can choose through Kairung, which is, I think, the basic land tour, and the second one is through Lhasa, and the third one is through helicopter. Now, helicopter has 2 options. You can take Lucknow to Lucknow, or you may want to take Kathmandu to Kathmandu. Kathmandu out, Kathmandu in. There are 2 ways to that, right? Many people do prefer Kathmandu to Kathmandu because they want to visit Pashupatinath, or they want to go to Mukti Dham, all these things. So, or if you want to, I would say it comes and categorized under luxury trip, because it's expensive if you're going through Lhasa, because then you get to visit, Tibet, Lhasa, and I am personally very passionate about going through Lhasa, because you get to see the Potala Palace and all those things, so those things can be included in the itinerary. Now, the comparison, let's come to the table, the main thing why we are talking about all this. So I made some distinction according to my understanding. So as I said, KMVN is the organization India government organizes, and Nepal, Nepal doesn't have like a government organization, but you can look for certain things if you are looking for a good operator. Now, when I say good operator, because we want to make our journey smooth, and we want to have the real darshan there. Like, honestly, if we are going through this huge trekking, and up till the time we reach Kailash, we are not in a shape to do the Kailash parikrama if you are interested in doing that, right? So if we can make our journey as comfortable as possible, now this is all my view, what I am saying. I feel then at least the Kailash parikrama we can do properly. At least with Mansarovar we can do properly. So we need to save our energy up till we reach Mansarovar, right? Because we are living in cities, and we are not accustomed to these very high altitude and harsh weathers, right? So I made this comparison according to my understanding. KMBN, Indian government, when you're going through, the route is Lepu Lake Pass and Nathula Pass. Let us just go through the KMBN, the Indian government side understanding, then I'll come to the Nepal side. Okay. Now, duration of this trek is 25 days approximately. Health checkup is mandatory. Your fitness level has to be very excellent, because the minimum trekking, you have, those vehicles and buses also taking you in between, but at least 12 days of trek, you have to be ready. You have to be ready for that, maybe 8 to 12 hours of trekking, 12 days. Okay. Selection process is through lucky draw. And of course, I think the age range would be between, if I'm not wrong, between somewhere 14 to 70. I don't think they allow above 70. Okay. So that's one thing. Difficulty level, I think it's tough, not a very easy thing to do. And luxury, I would say no luxury at all. They are very basic accommodation. Tour guide is basic. This is according to people who have gone there, the feedbacks that I've gone through them. That's what I'm sharing, right? Food quality is very basic, dhabas and wherever you get things there. And the cost right now, I'm talking about 2023 cost, it would be around 1,75,000. These are the approximate cost I will be talking about, right? So, but as I said, if you are you used to do the Tirth Yatra like this actually. Tirth Yatra in India was like that. When we look into books like Autobiography of a Yogi or the Himalayan Master, by Swami Rama, when we read that, so when we actually read those, it used to take like 3 months and up, because people used to literally walk from India, right? So from that perspective, if you are looking, and if you go, our yatra, the way we think about Kailash Manasarovar, it makes sense, like to have this hardship and go through that, right? So that way I feel, Indian government has designed that yatra. And because we are now modern, so we had added few things that can make us our yatra a little bit more comfortable than what we had like years, like 50 years back, if you're talking. Because when I was 14 years old, I'm talking maybe like around 25 years back, when I saw a video on Kailash Manasarovar, because our neighbor had gone through a video camera, they had taken those handy cams and recorded the video. They took more than a month to do this yatra, and the roads were like really, really bad. And you used to take one vehicle, and if one vehicle is going up and down the Kailash yatra, maybe it can do it for like 3 times, they used to say, because the vehicle would get destroyed in 3 rounds of Kailash going to. So those were those days. Okay, so according to that, KMVN, that's, these are the discussion I had with my friends when we are talking about KNVN Yatra, Kailash Yatra. Now let's come to the Nepal. Now, when you are looking at doing the tour through Nepal, because these are the only 2 ways you can do the Kailash, either through Indian government or through Nepal, right? Now, Nepal doesn't have like any government authorization for this, right? No, they don't have a government body as so. But one of the things that you can look for is ACTON, AKTON. I don't actually remember the full name, but it is an association that is responsible for the Kailash Yatra, right? So there are, I think, when I had studied about ACTON in 2018, there were only like maybe 5-6 operators. They were registered through ACTON to make the Kailash Yatra, right? So we have to look at, the company, how long they are operating. At least 15 years of experience they should have. So then they will provide the best equipments. Now I'm talking different, because for people like me who don't have this kind of time and basic, I won't be choosing something very basic, to be very honest, going there. Because in 2018, when I went there, when I found those climates, no, it is not for our kind, I mean, especially my kind of body to get adjusted there and do the yatra there. So, for me, the comfort, the road, things that mattered, because I wanted to be there with Kailash, be there with Mansarovar, and have a wonderful experience, right? So that's the reason I have chosen Nepal, because I wanted to do that parikrama. I did the Kailash parikrama, but when you're going through the Indian government, till you reach Kailash, like after like 15 days of trekking and all that, you really don't have this strength to do that. So they generally do the parikrama through a vehicle, but definitely it's optional. But I'm talking my perspective. Okay, now if you're so there are routes via Kairung, which is the overland trip. This is the most basic trip which are done. And if you're choosing like a good agency from Nepal, and I have written some names: IATA approved, then your visa is going to be fast. And then there are some other NTB and NATTA. These are Nepal organization. If they're approved through all this, then this company is really sustained, and they are not like a company that is going to just go away. They're a company to be trusted. Okay, so I was looking through companies who have really survived through the corona, to be honest. And I found, few companies that are the real operators. So these are the codes that you can look for when you are looking for your company. So they would be doing these trips via Kairung, via Lhasa, via helicopter. So via Kairung, you see the duration is 12 days. Health checkup is optional. It's, if you're in a fit body. Personally, I don't have any like history of a major illness, so I did not do any medical checkup. I knew I was fit, but of course, if you think, you can do your medical checkup, but it's not mandatory. Okay, fitness level is it's up to you if you want to do the yatra, parikrama or not. Many people, they don't do it, or they prefer to do it with a horse, or they prefer to just go to Kailash, and that's the place is called Dhirapuk, and they just do want to do salutation, and that's it, right? So trekking is optional. Age limit is 7 to 75. If you're above 70, they have a process to do that, but they can take 7 years to 75 years. And difficulty level is moderate, to be very honest. If you follow the people, the Sherpas, the expert, the guides they're giving, and they have really good guides, one because they are mountain people, they know the terrain very well, they are aware of that kind of altitude and height. So it depends the tour guide which you are getting. And if you are taking like a good company from Nepal for this, you will have two best tour guides, tour guides from two types of. One is from Nepal tour guide, the Sherpas, who are the heroes, who are going to carry you, take you, feed you, everything. And second tour guide is the China side tour guide. They need to speak English and Chinese both, because the conversation there, and they have to be like when I'm saying why I'm using this word Acton and ITA and NTB, NATTA, these organizations, when you take tour guides to them, they have the first priority in getting the best hotels there, right? The best accommodation and luxury also, up till Saga. Saga is the point before Mansarovar you are reaching, when you're going through any via Lhasa, via Kairung, even through helicopter, it's a little different, but you are going to get the best. I think for a helicopter, I think it's called the last point is Hilsa. Okay, Hilsa and Taklakot is the place. But up till Taklakot or up till Saga, you are going to get 3 to 4 star hotels there. And food, you need to check the food quality, the hygiene and all that, because it's a big trip, and good to eat very healthy food, vegetarian healthy food. So they will put you, according to your group, they're going to give you cooks along. So they have their entire ration packed with them, and they will, every place the cooks are cooking, the guides are there with you, right? So that's my experience through Kailash Manasarovar through Nepal. And of course, there are very few people who has gone through KMVN. We have to find those people actually. And I could find few of them. I interviewed them, and I was doing the comparison, which route to take is the best. So the food quality is the best, most hygienic, and, they will prepare Indian food or South Indian food. You want poha or whatever you want in the morning, wherever you are, they just put their camp, cook food, give you hot, fresh cooked food, distilled water, warm water is available, right? And they're going to supply you with every best equipment they have, because there might be, hilly roads, right? Anytime, anything can happen. So they provide you with the best equipment. They will never put you on tents. That's very one important thing to understand when we are going through Nepal, right? But other, if we are, there are many other agencies, many other, small tour operators who are taking different ways to do that. But we need to understand these small things before we are going there. It's not an easy journey to take, right? And if I'm like a normal person with a normal average fitness level, right? And My purpose of going there is Kailash Manasarovar, to spend time there, to spend my most of the time with that energy, right? So my priority was that how, because I would do a different trekking trip. Maybe I will do a trekking trip to uh, maybe Everest base camp if I have to, right? But here I wanted to had a comfortable journey so that I can be present with the energies of Kailash. I can be present with the energies of Mansarovar. And I think that's the reason I want, I took a trip through Nepal. Of course, if I ever get KMVN and my lottery comes and I have 1 month to spend, I would love to go through KMVN. But here again, this year, we are again have chosen a very good Nepal operator who is IATA and Acton approved, NATA NTB approved, and we have taken their services for the last 10 years. And that's how we are going there. We have like 50 members group that we are going together. So the best times to be there, it starts from May, June, July is good. Up till 15th August is good climate. You can travel. So that's the basic comparison I wanted to do. Age limit, I said 7 to 75. And if you're fit, you can go. We had a lady, she was 70 years old, and she was all fit and fine. She did the yatra with us. We had somebody with lung disease, but she did all the tests. The doctors said, okay, go and take these medication. She was able to do not only the yatra, she did the parikrama there successfully. So I just wanted to share this because Kailash is very close to my heart. It's the Shiv Shakti. That's what I also work with as an identity discovery coach, right? And these are the two polarities, masculine and feminine. All the time, the polarities are working in our life. And if we talk Kailash Manasarovar, it's the epitome. Like even in Indian Tantra, it's the epitome of the peak experience. Something to understand intellectually and something to experience is very different, right? So yes, I get very passionate when I speak about Kailash Manasarovar Yatra. But I hope this comparison helps you to have a successful yatra, even if you are deciding later, if you are planning it. I hope this helps you. Namaste, and thank you. Let's meet for another video. If I have something on this, I'm going to share with you.